Hey guys, what's going on? Steven back again, and I'm back with another 40k video from Majorkill. So after last week's video, the pros and cons of joining Chaos, in the comment section I got suggested to take a look at this video here, which is called Which Chaos God is Best to Pledge Allegiance to? I'm losing my voice. That is pretty tough. I don't know which one would be the best. I think Undivided would be pretty difficult. I guess it depends on what you are. You know, if you're just a Chaos cultist, you know, and you go Undivided and you start showing favor to one of the Chaos Gods more than the others, I'm sure they probably really don't care as much. But let's say you're a Demon Prince, and now you're showing favor towards one of the Chaos Gods. I'm sure all the other Chaos Gods would be more pissed off about that, you know, because you're a Demon Prince. I want you, you know, I want a Demon Prince. Cultist, like, whatever, who cares, you know? So, who knows? But yeah, anyways, let's get on to the video and see which Chaos God is best to pledge allegiance to, as I'm losing my voice. Alright. Here we go.
G'day guys and gal. Recently we discussed if there was actually a valid and reasonable justification for selling your soul to the forces of hell. And surprisingly, there actually was for some people. Straight up, many Chaos cultists and even Space Marines join Chaos for a solid reason. You can hate them for it, but you can't sit there in confusion, scratching your balls and then sniffing the hand that you just scratched them with. But like in most situations, it's important to talk about diversity. Each Chaos God is wildly different to the others, and serving one Chaos God will net you an entirely different experience than if you were serving another. Right. Chaos Gods don't really care about equality. It's not really on their priorities beyond equally accepting and soul raping everyone regardless of their race and gender. So serving some Chaos Gods will net you a better time overall than serving others. I mean, it does depend on your preference, but there are some pretty clear benefits some gods have over the others. Before we get started, I want to quickly bring up something that I said a week or two ago. With the new Eldar models being unveiled, they look dope by the way, I'm definitely blowing this month's Patreon check on them. Business experience,
yeah, the avatar looked awesome.
I had a keen eye out for the new Margan Ra model, as I said that if it was a good model and a great upgrade on the previous model, which was older than an old man's sack, that I would take down my Space Elf Deathlord that was designed as a modernized and proportionate proxy of the old model.
That one doesn't look bad either.
Here's the thing. The new Margan Ra is great, but it feels more like Margan Ra's brother, not him. They've given him a hood and they've made him more like a speedy, agile dude, instead of the unshakable Doomslayer Chad that he should be. So as such, whilst I love the new model, I'm going to leave Space Elf Deathlord up on the Majorkill mini store for the Eldar players that wanted more of a straightforward remaster of the old model rather than a reboot. Today we'll go over what joining each of the Chaos Gods looks like, detailing the pros and cons of each, before deciding which would be best for the average person to sell their soul to. Let's get into it. Let's start with Khorne. As if I mentioned Slaanesh this early in the video, it'll probably get age restricted like all my other Slaanesh videos. In a setting called Warhammer, the god of war features quite a lot, and surprisingly, he's actually probably not the worst to join. First and foremost, Khorne isn't a conniving little shit that will fuck you over for a laugh, like Slaanesh and Tits Niche would. You know what you're getting with Khorne, no catches or hidden consequences. Khorne isn't big on mutating his followers. He doesn't turn you into a blob or give you tentacles and shit. Basic Khornite followers will grow larger muscles, denser bones, and heightened senses, but only the most revered and dedicated of Khorne's champions will begin to grow small horns and get a bit more demony. So if you were worried about your appearance changing, Khorne has got you back. I mean, you might have to carve his symbol into your flesh, but you know, that's aside the point. The initial stages of worshipping Khorne are quite nice. Sure, Khorne is the god of blood and war, but he's also the god of martial prowess, honor, and bravery. Your initial boons will be subtle and positive. You'll become a better warrior, more confident, a better leader. As Khorne also despises magic and sees it as dishonorable, he grants his followers a degree of protection from it. This is how, in fantasy, it took 12 chosen bloodthirsters to temporarily take down Lord Kroak, and in an alternate 40k timeline, it was a bloodthirster who was able to strike down the Golden Throne. None of the other gods grant this kind of magical protection that Khorne does, hence he is always the one to take down the overpowered magical raid bosses. With a lot of discipline, you can maintain this subtly powered Khornite state, but eventually the bloodthirst will get to you. You'll basically develop Tourette's, but instead of yelling out funny cooked shit, you'll kill something.
Scarbrand.
Capture slaves purely so that during long interstellar travel, they have shit to kill on the way. The point is that joining Khorne takes a degenerative toll. Take Khan as an example. Khan started off as a bro. He faced down his soulmate Primarch and convinced him to lead the Legion. He became best buds with Argul Tal. He kicked the shit out of Erebus for betraying Argul, and he was overall seen as the spiritual leader of the World Eaters. However, the influence of Khorne fried his brain, and it brought him down to a point where he's now a literal mindless berserker. He's almost a
now he's just bloodthirsty.
He never really talks now, kills his own warriors, gets killed and revived, and is in a constant state of rage. He's basically Chaos's version of the Doomslayer. Whilst the Doomslayer is awesome, he isn't a very deep or talkative character. So while the start of your worship to Khorne will be pleasant, the deeper you go, the more of your sanity you'll lose until you either die or claim enough skulls to become a demon prince.
I'm sure it's like that with all the Chaos Gods. The deeper you go, the worse it gets.
A level head, and they don't descend into complete blood-fueled madness. So what about Tits Niche? Is he a better option to join with? The thing about Tits Niche is that serving him will be either really fucking good or really fucking bad, depending on which
flip of the coin.
Tits Niche is in. With Khorne, it's obvious what he wants. Go kill shit and he'll give you a pat on the head. Run from a battle and he'll stomp on your balls. But with Tits Niche, not even he knows what he wants half the time. Followers of Tits Niche that follow his exact design and ambitions might find themselves cursed to become a chaos spawn for the laughs, and his other followers that seek to be free of his influence and even attempt to undermine him might find themselves given boons and genuine gifts from Tits Niche. A good example is Ahriman. Ahriman actually has his shit together and is one of the most sane Chaos champions around. Yet he's constantly seeking ways to learn more about Tits Niche to shake off its influence and give himself greater free will. As a response to this, Tits Niche gives him power boosts and even prevents Magnus from killing him. Tits Niche is just here for a laugh, you know, and I can respect that.
Wow, I didn't know that about Ahriman.
Tits Niche being the most immersed in the warp out of all the Chaos Gods, following him incurs a much higher risk of random mutation as compared to the other gods. As such, you might wake up one day to find your foot, fingers, or cock turned into tentacles. Tits Niche does this because, once again, he finds it funny. You can either accept these gifts, or, as some Chaos Marines do, cut them off to prevent further mutation. Good thing they never use their cocks, otherwise that would be a very rough short end of the stick. So when it comes to praising Tits Niche, you'll either have a great time full of adventure, knowledge, power, and destiny, or you'll get turned into a mindless chaos spawn, or, you know, both. Such is the whim of Tits Niche. So now that we're further in the video, we can talk about Slaanesh. Interestingly enough, following Slaanesh does the most to mirror real life. Allow me to explain. Slaanesh is sex, drugs, and rock and roll for sure, which is awesome. But
obviously,
if you say that to someone who takes Warhammer lore way too seriously, then they'll get mad and they'll be like, nah, Slaanesh is about excess and addiction. Which is correct, but come on you fucking neckbeard, let me enjoy the sex, drugs, and rock and roll. After all, this is an official model of a Slaaneshi follower. Back to my original point, the excessive and addictive nature
what do you say that model
is seen in our society by drug addicts all the time. There are numerous cases of drug addicts robbing and even killing their own family members in order to take their cash and buy more drugs. The deeper your drug addiction goes, the more empty and depraved you become. Your appearance becomes a twisted shadow of its former self. It always starts the same, a small addiction here with big highs, only has a minor impact on your life, but eventually you either stop or you end up as one of those rambling junkies on the street that everyone avoids looking at. I'm talking about shit like meth and heroin here, not the other stuff. The other stuff's fine. For Slaanesh, you basically take everything I said and you times it by 10 with a side serving of evil. The highs are way taller and the lows are way deeper. To get the hit, it becomes less about doing more drugs and more about what you do while you're on those drugs. Deplorable evil shit becomes your new norm. Take Sigvald for example. He looks pretty fresh, seems to be sane, and doesn't look corrupted. But then you learn that not only is he the world's #1 rapist, but he also eats the women he rapes while he's raping them. Very solid. The Emperor's children are also one of the weakest legions in the galaxy due to
I had no idea about that about Sigvald. Wow.
They struggle to replenish their numbers or even win battles because of how all over the place each individual member is. They'd rather spend their time railing space cocaine instead of doing anything productive for chaos. When you follow Slaanesh, all your morals and values go out the door. Slaanesh will actually reward you with bigger highs for each moral and value you break in her name. At least
Really?
with Khorne, you can maintain your honor and courage despite your slipping sanity. Tits Niche won't try to force you to sodomize your daughter, and Nurgul doesn't even know what a penis is. Slaanesh, on the other hand, will actively try to break you down until you are a literal gremlin, a stain on humanity's legacy. But hey, you get to have hectic orgies.
I had
so it's
no
pretty
idea about how
balanced
weak
out.
Emperor's
And
children
finally,
are.
Nurgul. Joining Nurgul is pretty straightforward and on a superficial level looks kinda terrible. You get bloated and smelly. Your rotting body becomes home to demonic insects as your organs twist and turn. Everyone except other Nurgulite followers will shun you. But here's the thing, as a Nurgulite follower, you don't feel any of the pain or discomfort from how gross you are. You feel bliss and a feeling of satisfaction and content. You also don't go insane. Like there was a story about a guardsman who was killed and brought back to life as a Nurgulite zombie. Even he still maintained his brain, and he actually tried to rejoin the loyalist guardsmen to help them fight Nurgul, but he was shot at when he approached them for obvious reasons.
Obviously.
Nurgul is also the only god that actually cares about his followers, and he sees them as his children, whilst the other
Papa
chaos
Nurgle
gods see their followers as tools and minions. This is why Nurgulite demons always seem so happy. Daddy loves them. Nurgulite followers will also gain a crazy amount of durability due to the fact that their organs no longer have any useful function, and their bodies are instead sustained.
I didn't know,
purely
despite
through
looking like that,
magic.
they don't really
To prove
fail
this, there was a scene where a couple
pain.
plague marines are cut off from the warp, and they instantly begin screaming in horror at what they've become before they painfully die due to how fucked their bodies are. So yeah, once you join Nurgul, there really isn't any way to unjoin him. I mean, there's not really any way to unjoin any of them, but for Nurgul, it's guaranteed death to do so. Basically, if you join Nurgul, you get love, community, no suffering, and eternal life, but you become the most unfuckable thing in the entire galaxy. So that's the 4 options. Or is it? Is there another option which basically shits on all the others?
Undivided.
Yes, Chaos Undivided. When you become a follower of Chaos Undivided, you gain the power of all 4 Chaos Gods without all the negatives, as technically, none of them own your soul, hence they can't do their wacky bullshit to you. Examples include Abaddon, Lorgar, and Perturabo. All 3 are slaves to Chaos, there is no doubt about that. But they are genuinely free to follow their own agendas and interpret chaos how they will. They won't be forced to do anything that they don't really want to do. This is a delicate balancing act though. Being a successful follower of Chaos Undivided means you're useful to Chaos as a whole without helping one god more than the others.
Exactly.
The reason why you are safe and free is because if a Chaos god tries to fuck with you, the others will smack them, as they would see it as infringing on their shared property. You also don't get access to the specialized power of each Chaos God, so you won't have the durability of Nurgul, the strength of Khorne, the knowledge of Tits Niche, and the cock of Slaanesh, to as great as a degree as a dedicated follower would. But that's not a huge deal, so as long as you have the will to maintain your belief in Undivided. If so, then this is by far the best option.
Obviously.
If you can't be Undivided, then honestly, Nurgul isn't the worst option. It's a pretty good life, and there's no mirrors in Nurgul's garden, so you don't have to see yourself. Tits Niche is also a good option as long as you don't get turned into a Chaos Spawn, whilst Khorne and Slaanesh are a bit rough, due to the fact that the longer that you worship them for, the more degenerative you become. Even though the start of Slaanesh and Khorne's worship is the best. A few years in, and you'll be cooked as. When it comes to selling your soul to hell, you're allowed to be picky. So hopefully now, when chaos comes knocking, you can make an educated decision about your future. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be. Where only $1 per month give you access to a boatload of undivided hentai. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more.
Okay, so there we go. I don't know, it's like 2 of them have good ups, you know, like joining Khorne, you know, I guess at the start, you know, you don't really change that much. Yeah, you get more stronger bones, stuff like that. And then obviously on the downside though, the more you worship him, the further down that rabbit hole I guess you go, the more crazy you get, where, you know, Nurgle, yeah, not that bad, but you look like, you look unpleasant, you know. So I mean, you got ups and you got downs, and then like you said, Undivided, not that bad because you don't really suffer from any of the downs, but you don't also really gain any of the ups as well, you know. Like you said, you don't get like the strength of Khorne, the toughness of Nurgle and stuff like that, because you're not following them specifically, you know. Then like you said, it's also a balancing act because you can't worship one more than the other, you know. And I do like that they can't really mess with you, because then the other gods will get angry, because now you're screwing with, like he said, their property. You know, you can't have like Tzeentch turn you into a spawn, because now Khorne, Nurgul, and Slaanesh are going to be pissed that, you know, hey, that's ours. What the hell did you just do? You know, no, you're not doing that. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you can balance, like you said, Undivided, basically the way to go, I guess. Always loyalist, though. Me and my Dark Angels. It's right. 100% loyalist. Nothing ever wrong. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button and let me know which Chaos God would you join, or would you go Undivided? You know, which one would you go to? Let me know. Yeah, and like I said, if you guys like the video, hit the thumbs up button. It'd be awesome. Remember, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description box below. And if there's any other Majorkill videos you want me to do, like I said, this one here was recommended in the comment section. Leave another one down below, and I'll be glad to do a video on them. Like I said, I'm really enjoying these videos. These videos are absolutely awesome. I like the little jokes and stuff he cracks and all that stuff, and yeah, the information is really good. So yeah, if you got any of those, suggest them. Anyways, other than that, yeah, just stick around. More videos are on the way, and I will see you guys next time.